illness, something I'm very familiar with. I've had my own struggles with mental illness. To me is really emblematic of a very deep level of maturity, empathy, and sensitivity. I don't think you can take a subject like that at this tender age and do justice to it if you don't have these attributes or these feelings in you. And I think a big credit goes to you and Paridhi, right? Because ultimately, we barely know what we are doing at that age. And unless you encourage them correctly and point them in the right direction, I don't think she would have written or illustrated this book. What do you think, Anaya? I'm making you cry. No, but every parent who's had a child with a mental illness or knows all too well what it is to be excluded from the world. And this book represents inclusion, and I think with all the turmoil in the world, if there's one thing that we should all be looking for is inclusion. So hat tip to Anaya and her parents. One final thing I will say, we all as parents and grandparents constantly worry in the digital age about what our kids are going to end up becoming. पूरा दिन गेम खेलते हैं यार, कहीं बाहर नहीं जाते हैं, ये देखो social media, like. But look around you. And examples like that, I think, tell us that our future is very safe. And I'm extremely inspired and encouraged that we have children like Anaya who are going to show us the way. So thank you, Anaya, for inspiring us all. And thank you all for being here.
I would want to say. But I must say that I'm a mom. And as I think most of us here are either moms or kids or grandparents. So pretty much and uncles and aunts. So everyone is in some way connected to kids. So one of the reasons that I have to rush after this is because our younger son has a football match. And what actually really moved me in this book was the fact that sport is used as such a wonderful leveler, and it's such an amazing way of creating inclusion. And I watch this because, we are South Bombay people, and my son is playing competitively, all over the place, and he, his teammates are from all over, and it's another sort of inclusion. And I think it's wonderful that you've used sport as a metaphor for bridging the gap, whether it's with something like Down syndrome or any special needs. I think it's beautiful. And I have on my show done several episodes on special needs. And I'm really a believer, without being a martyr, that every child is a star, everyone's special. And I think, as Anupam said, at this age, we didn't really know. And I think actually when we all, find all the negatives of these times, including lockdown and too much screen time and all, I also feel this is a wonderful generation that had so much more access to awareness on things like special needs. Kids are now much more inclusive, I think, and schools talk more about inclusion. Books like this, it's fantastic. I tried to convince my younger one to come here for the book launch, but that's another form of inclusion that I think has to be worked on. But really a huge congratulations, and I think, when they invited me here, I don't actually know any of you, but I feel I do. I've got to know you now, but for me, the minute there's something like this, I immediately say yes.
So, obviously, like you said, the main inspiration for this book was Jai. I came across them, and they actually work on intellectual disabilities as a whole, and Down syndrome is just one of them. So after I spoke to their teachers and different people who do work at Jai, I came across how, obviously Down syndrome is known, but people don't know how to if you come across someone with Down syndrome, how to treat them or how to talk to them. So I wanted to use art as a medium to basically.
Yes, and you've done well. I mean, if you open the book and see the illustrations, each one of them will touch you in different ways. Tara, I just wanted to quickly ask you here, because you've done this episode with Down syndrome and you've interacted with this very young, angelic girl, Nora, Pooja Nora. In fact, we invite Pooja Nora also, but I know Nora is recovering from her illnesses. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was wonderfully encouraging. As Anupam will will relate as an entrepreneur, I will say check out the Tara Sharma Show YouTube channel, the episode with Pooja and Nora. Sorry, because it really, it really moved me. Not only did we have Pooja and Nora, who are the parents of a little.
We must have a little Aisha, please. Come. Do you need a scissor or something? Can we have a scissor, Preeti?
There's a Western way of
Press.
things and paper nahi bacha ke rakho.
Oh wow.
Give the remaining ones. No, give me the remaining. Will everyone have a
Yeah.
Can you not come, Aisha? Aisha, come,
Madam.
All look into this camera.